Hello, I'm Rob Slater. Welcome back to the Clearwater Safety Group channel, where we aim to bring you practical solutions to your real-world safety problems. This is the first in a series of short videos designed to give you a quick insight into the wonderful world of health and safety, whether you are an employer or an employee. In this series, we'll cover health and safety policies, what they are, when and why you need them. We'll look at the role of the competent person, health and safety duties of both employers and employees. We'll look at risk assessments and method statements, otherwise known as RAMs, fire risk assessments, and finally at pre-qualification questionnaires, otherwise known as PQQs, and the assessment bodies such as CHAS or Construction Line. We'll also look at health and safety within the construction industry, looking at compliance with CDM 2015, the roles of the principal designer and the principal contractor. Each video will last around about 5 minutes and is designed to give you an overview of health and safety in the UK and what you need to do to be compliant to keep your staff and anybody who may be affected by your works safe and healthy. So many people, whether they're in business or not, still see health and safety as nothing more than the safety or the fun police. So in this series of videos I'll try to explain what health and safety is and what it isn't, and particularly why we all need it. Let's face it, health and safety is very much like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. Personally, I prefer to think of it like an insurance policy. You may not want to have it, but you certainly need it. So why and when did health and safety start to become a thing? Well, health and safety, as we all know and love it, really started in the factories and the mills following the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly you had lots of untrained people using lots of machinery with little to no safety protocols. And of course what happened was there were lots of accidents, and importantly for the time, the product was damaged. So the role of the factory inspector was created to help prevent accidents, but more to protect the product than the workers. After all, product was worth money and there were lots of people. Now of course over the years that's changed. We now have the health and safety executive providing guidance and instructions and enforcement, and you have independent consultants like myself who work with businesses making sure that they are compliant. So let's start with what health and safety isn't about. It's not about stopping you from working, despite various sections of the media screaming and shouting that we are the fun police or we're stopping you from earning a living. Many organisations still choose to blame health and safety as a reason why they, or you, can't do something, when in actual fact it's their own organisation arrangements which have failed. My first introduction to health and safety and health and safety officers was on building sites back in the 1980s. That time it seemed to me they had one reason to be on site, and that was to stop me from working. You can't do this, it's health and safety. You can't do that, it's health and safety. So when I look back at that time with now qualified eyes, I can see that in fact I was correct, and they seem to know very little about life in the real world. So those experiences shape the way I do health and safety. I know you have a job to do. My job is to help you do it in the safest manner possible. So what is all this health and safety about then? Well, quite simply it's this. When you go to work, you have the standard issue set of body parts, 2 arms, 2 hands, hopefully with the requisite number of fingers and thumbs, 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 eyes, etc. And your skin is doing its job of keeping the inside in and the outside out. Now, if you leave work however many hours later and you've damaged or lost any of those parts, then probably someone's messed up. There could be several reasons for this. Maybe the employer hasn't made sure there are safety procedures or safe systems of work in place. Maybe the right equipment or tools for that task weren't available, or importantly, the tools hadn't been maintained or the staff weren't trained to use it. There are other possible reasons outside the immediate control of the employer. The staff have had the correct training, but because the guy's in a rush, he's been doing it for many years, he knows what he's doing, he'll take a shortcut, maybe remove a guard, not wear the right PPE. And in the time it takes to click your fingers, he's had an accident, and quite possibly a life-changing one. So health and safety, it is about protecting both the employers and the people who work for them. and importantly, it's there to protect anyone else who may be affected by their work activities. As an employee, you are responsible for everything that happens on your premises. This is where people often see health and safety quoted as stopping them from enjoying themselves while they're at their leisure or pleasure activities. Several years ago, the authorities at Wimbledon had to stop people sliding down the slope, which was then known as Murray Mount, after it had been raining, not so much to protect themselves, but in case they hurt passers-by. So often the employer, the building or the landowner, simply can't win. If he does nothing and someone's hurt, they will sue. If he stops them from using the area, stops them sliding down the bank, it's the health and safety police. So, despite all the hype and hysteria in some parts of the media, health and safety isn't there to stop you from doing things. It's there to stop the workers being injured, to stop the businesses having to pay out for sick time, compensation, or even fines. It's there to stop you being injured and to stop anybody injuring you while you're at work or play. So hopefully that's given you a little insight into what health and safety is all about. So in the words of Hill Street Blues,
hey, let's be careful out there.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.